It was June 12th, 2019, when the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife commercial fishing vessel caught a floating blue backpack in their nets off the coast of Cannon Beach, and boat captain 47-year-old Robert Chen's heart sank when he opened the bag on deck. Inside was a diary with pages soaked in seawater but still readable, yet the girl who owned the backpack was not there. Oregon police had searched for Madison Clark for 20 years. The young girl had vanished as if swallowed by the ocean. Exactly 20 years later, that floating backpack in the ocean would change everything. Forensic document specialists analyzed the diary's ink and paper structure, and despite saltwater damage, 47 pages were recoverable. The first 40 pages were innocent summer vacation notes from a 14-year-old girl. On page 41, Madison talked about beach walks. On page 42, she wrote, "Beachkeeper. Mr. Mitchell is very kind. Taught me to collect seashells." On page 43, the tone had changed. "Mr. Mitchell's way of looking at me feels strange." The last page, page 47, was Madison's final words written with a trembling hand. "He's following me. I'm scared. If this diary is found, please tell my family I love them." DNA analysis led the fingerprints and bloodstains on the diary pages to a name Cannon Beach had trusted for 20 years, Beach Security Coordinator Aaron Mitchell. Mitchell had joined Madison's search teams, scanned the shores, told the Clark family maybe she fell in the water, drowned. He had cried at the memorial service without a body, said this town lost an angel. Now police were at his door, asking him one question. How did Madison's diary float in the ocean for 20 years, Aaron? In the rocky cove area south of Cannon Beach, below the tide line, behind a large rock, Madison Clark's skeletal remains were found. 14 years old, a young girl in love with the ocean, silenced because the beach keeper wanted to show her a special place. At 10:30 on Thursday morning, July 22nd, 1999, Susan Clark watched her daughter Madison from the kitchen window. The 14-year-old girl slung her blue backpack over her shoulder, waved to her mother, and began walking down the street. Madison had worn a white t-shirt and denim shorts that morning. Her backpack contained a water bottle, sunscreen, and her diary. "I'll be back in the afternoon, Mom," she had said, leaving the kitchen. Susan looked at the sunny summer morning and watched her daughter head toward Beach Loop Road. At that moment, thousands of children across Oregon were doing the same thing, preparing to go to the beach during summer vacation. But Madison Clark never came home again. Madison's plan was simple. She would go to Cannon Beach's main shore, collect seashells in the Haystack Rock area, spend a few hours, and return home before noon. She had used the same route dozens of times. It was safe, crowded. Other tourists and locals were there. Beachkeeper Aaron Mitchell was there too, there every day, providing security. Madison knew him. He was a kind man, gave children information about marine life, found lost items. Everyone trusted him. But that day, Aaron Mitchell was thinking something different. The Clark family had moved to Cannon Beach 3 years earlier. Madison was their only child, a cheerful girl who loved the ocean more than anything. She collected seashells, drew pictures of waves, wrote poems about the tide. Every summer, she would spend entire days on the beach. Cannon Beach was her paradise. That morning, she had forgotten her cell phone on her bedroom nightstand. It was a small mistake that would change everything. At 2 o'clock, Madison still wasn't home. Susan began to worry. At 3 o'clock, Susan went to the beach. No one had seen Madison. At 4 o'clock, she called friends. None had encountered Madison. At 5 o'clock, Susan called Cannon Beach Police. Officer David Martinez took the call. "My daughter went to the beach this morning. She was supposed to be back. Now it's 5 o'clock. I can't find her. Please help." Martinez took notes, asked for Madison's photo, got a description of the blue backpack with a pink starfish sticker. At 6 o'clock, Cannon Beach Police Department launched an official search operation. Detective Sarah Rodriguez took the case, 34 years old, experienced in missing child cases. She directed teams to Haystack Rock area. Search dogs arrived at 7:30. Volunteer search teams formed at 8 o'clock. Susan and Paul Clark stood on the beach, watching, their hope diminishing with each passing minute. The first 48 hours were critical. Detective Rodriguez knew coastal town cases were especially dangerous. Ocean, tides, rocks, caves. Had Madison fallen into the water or been abducted? Dogs lost the scent. There were no traces. Madison had seemingly been taken by the ocean. Rodriguez questioned beach officials. She spoke with Aaron Mitchell, 34 years old, 5 years as beachkeeper, well known and respected. "Did you see Madison Clark on July 22nd afternoon?" Rodriguez asked. "Yes, detective. I saw her near Haystack Rock, collecting seashells," Mitchell said. "Around 2:30. "Did you talk to her?" "Yes, I said hello. Told her to be careful of the tide. She thanked me." Rodriguez took notes. Aaron Mitchell seemed calm, helpful, concerned. She had no reason to suspect him. A week passed. 2 weeks passed. No clues. Search teams scanned beaches, checked rocks, searched caves, scanned the ocean floor. Nothing was found. Madison Clark had vanished. Susan went to the beach every day, hoping. Media interest waned. First week daily coverage, second week once a week, then silence. Madison Clark was added to the missing persons list. File archived as active but unsolved. Flyers went up around town. A reward offered. No one called. Aaron Mitchell was a perfect beachkeeper. He helped the Clark family, volunteered with search teams, walked the beaches shouting, "Madison!" He participated in the memorial service, said, "This town lost an angel." Susan Clark thanked him. "You're very kind, Mr. Mitchell." Aaron said, "I have a little sister. I'm so sorry for you." He continued this role for 20 years, concerned beachkeeper, helpful community member. No one knew the truth. At 2:15 on Thursday afternoon, July 22nd, 1999, Aaron Mitchell was patrolling and saw Madison Clark collecting seashells near Haystack Rock. Madison wore a white t-shirt and denim shorts, blue backpack on her back. Aaron looked at her. Something moved inside Aaron, a dark impulse he had suppressed for years. That day there were hundreds of people on the beach, but Aaron's eyes were only on Madison. She was alone, no friends, no parents nearby. Aaron made a dangerous plan. Aaron approached Madison. "Hello, Madison," he said with a friendly smile. Madison turned, recognized Aaron, smiled. "Hello, Mr. Mitchell." "Are you collecting seashells?" "Yes, I'll take them to my mom." She showed him a small pink shell. Aaron nodded. "Beautiful. Do you know, there are very rare shells in the South Cove. Tourists don't know. Only locals know. Very special shells." Madison's eyes lit up. "Really? What kind?" "Sand dollars. Perfect ones. Purple sea urchin shells. Even some abalone pieces." Madison looked interested but hesitant. "Where is the South Cove?" "Just past those rocks. 5-minute walk." Madison hesitated. "I don't know. My mom expects me home." Aaron pressed. "It'll be very quick, I promise. 10 minutes. I'm going that way for patrol anyway." Madison thought. Aaron was trustworthy. The beachkeeper. Everyone knew him. "Okay, let's go." It was the last decision she would ever make. The path to the South Cove moved away from the tourist area, passed between large rocks. Aaron walked ahead, talking about shells. Madison followed, excited, trusting. 5 minutes later, they had separated from the crowd. No one around, just rocks, ocean, and 2 people. Aaron stopped, turned. "Here it is," he said. Madison looked around confused. "Where? I don't see any special shells." Aaron approached her, his demeanor changing. "Madison, I need to talk to you." His voice was different now. Madison's face changed. Uncomfortable. About what? You're a very special girl. Madison started backing up. I have to go home. She turned to leave. Aaron grabbed her arm. Wait. His grip was tight. Madison got scared. Let me go. She tried to scream, but Aaron covered her mouth, pulling her behind a large rock. Madison struggled, kicked, clawed at his face. Aaron was stronger. He put his hands on Madison's throat. Squeezed. Madison couldn't breathe. Her eyes opened wide with terror. Aaron kept squeezing. After 120 seconds, Madison's body relaxed, remained motionless. Aaron pulled back, out of breath, hands shaking. He looked at Madison. The girl's eyes were open, but her gaze was empty. Aaron understood what he had done. Panic peaked. Aaron Mitchell had no plan. He had acted on impulse. Now a child was dead. He looked around frantically. The beach was still empty. No one had seen. He had maybe 10 minutes. He carried Madison's body behind larger rocks to a gap below the tide line hidden by a boulder. This spot filled with water during high tide. The body would be underwater, hidden. He took the blue backpack. Inside was a water bottle, sunscreen, and a diary. He opened it with shaking hands. Most entries were innocent, but recent pages mentioned him. Page 42. Beachkeeper Mr. Mitchell taught me about shells today. Page 43. Mr. Mitchell looks at me weird sometimes. The last page, written that morning. Going to beach today. Mr. Mitchell is always helpful, but something about him makes me uncomfortable. Mom says trust your instincts. And then, he's following me. I'm scared. If this diary is found, please tell my family I love them. Madison had sensed danger, documented it. Aaron's heart pounded. This diary was evidence. He wrapped it in plastic, threw the entire backpack as far as he could into the ocean. The bag landed in the water, bobbed on the surface. Aaron watched. Sink, he thought. The bag floated. Currents caught it. It drifted but didn't sink. Aaron couldn't wait. He turned and walked away. That bag would float for 20 years. Aaron returned to the beach. He stopped at a restroom, washed his hands, checked his appearance. His face was scratched where Madison had clawed him. He would say he tripped into brush. He walked back to his patrol area, smiled at tourists, helped a child find their lost shoe. At 6 o'clock, when police arrived asking about Madison Clark, Aaron was the helpful witness. Yes, officer, I saw her around 2:30. She was collecting shells. I told her to be careful of the tide. He joined search parties, called Madison's name, comforted her parents. For 20 years, he lived this double life. 20 years passed. Aaron Mitchell aged. His hair turned white, turned 54. He became beach security coordinator, got promoted, received community service awards. He never married, lived alone. He worked every summer, never acting on his impulses again. Madison had been his only victim. Aaron woke up every morning wondering, will she be found today? But they didn't find her. Years passed, Aaron relaxed. Maybe she would never be found. Maybe he would take it to the grave. But on June 12th, 2019, everything changed. When Robert Chen found the blue backpack, Aaron Mitchell was having breakfast at home. Morning news on television. He sipped his coffee, planned his day, looked at his phone, had no idea. That bag was now at Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. Forensic team examining it. Diary pages being dried, photographed, analyzed. Fingerprints being lifted. DNA collected. Aaron Mitchell's life was about to end. At 7 o'clock on Friday morning, June 28th, 2019, Aaron Mitchell's door was knocked. Hard, loud. Aaron opened it in his pajamas. Outside were 4 police officers. Detective Sarah Rodriguez stood in front, now 54 years old, still working cold cases. She held an arrest warrant. Aaron Mitchell? Yes, may I help you? We're taking you into custody regarding the Madison Clark murder investigation. Put your hands behind your back, please. Aaron's face went white. His eyes widened. A police officer turned him around, put handcuffs on. Rodriguez said, "Your Miranda rights will be read." Aaron said nothing, was put in the car. Neighbors watched. By noon it would be all over town. By evening, national news. In the interrogation room, Aaron Mitchell sat across the metal table, handcuffed, his lawyer beside him, Detective Rodriguez and Detective Martinez across. Rodriguez placed an evidence bag on the table. The blue backpack. The pink starfish sticker still visible. "Recognize this?" Aaron stared. Silence. Rodriguez placed another bag. The diary. "How about this?" Rodriguez opened a folder. Forensic reports. "Mr. Mitchell, you touched Madison Clark's diary on July 22nd, 1999. Your fingerprints are on multiple pages. Your DNA is on the cover. The diary was found in this backpack floating in the ocean 2 weeks ago. 100% match. How do you explain this?" Aaron remained silent. His lawyer said, "My client will not speak." Rodriguez nodded. "Okay, then I'll speak. You lured Madison to the South Cove. You attacked her. You killed her. You hid her body below the tide line. You threw her backpack into the ocean thinking it would sink, but it didn't. It floated for 20 years. We have your fingerprints. We have your DNA. We have Madison's diary where she wrote you made her uncomfortable, that you were following her. We know everything. Where is her body?" Aaron's hands shaking, sweat on forehead, eyes filled with tears. His lawyer whispered, "Don't say anything." But Aaron couldn't hold it. The 20-year burden was crushing. "I just wanted to show her shells," he said quietly. "She was so beautiful, so innocent. I couldn't help myself. It just happened. I touched her. She got scared, tried to scream. I panicked, put my hands on her throat. I didn't mean to kill her, but I couldn't stop. I'm sorry." On July 5th, 2019, Cannon Beach Police directed the dive team to the South Cove. Aaron had drawn a map. They went to the location, behind large rocks, below the tide line. 2 hours later, they found skeletal remains, small bones, a child's skeleton, white t-shirt fabric, denim shorts. The forensic team worked carefully, each bone treated with reverence. This was Madison. DNA analysis rushed. Result, 100% match. Madison Elizabeth Clark, born March 15th, 1985. Died July 22nd, 1999, age 14. Susan Clark sat at the police station, Detective Rodriguez beside her. "We found her, Susan. We found Madison." Susan cried. 20 years of not knowing. Now it was over. Madison was coming home. Aaron Mitchell was found guilty of first-degree murder. On October 18th, 2019, the courtroom was packed. The judge read the verdict. Guilty. Sentencing, life in prison without parole. Aaron bowed his head. Susan Clark stood up, given permission for a victim impact statement. She walked to the podium, looked at Aaron. "I waited 20 years. Every day I hoped my daughter would come home. You killed her. You took her from us. Then you lived next to us. You helped search for her. You hugged me. You lied for 20 years. I hope you live a long life in prison. I hope every day you remember what you did. Madison died terrified and alone because of you. But now she can rest, and you will rot in a cell forever. That is justice." She sat down. Aaron Mitchell was taken away. He will spend the rest of his life in Oregon State Penitentiary. Madison Clark's funeral was held on November 15th, 2019, in Cannon Beach. The entire town came, hundreds of people. The service was on the beach at sunset, Madison's favorite time. Susan and Paul stood at the front. A small white casket held Madison's remains, flowers everywhere, photos of Madison smiling, happy, alive. The blue backpack was displayed on a table. Person after person spoke about Madison, shared memories, cried. When it ended, Susan walked to the water's edge, carrying the backpack. She placed it on a memorial stone, engraved Madison Elizabeth Clark, forever 14, forever loved. The ocean brought you home. Susan touched the stone, whispered, "Now you're at peace, baby." The sun set over the Pacific, orange and pink and purple. Madison Clark died at 14 in 1999, but came home 20 years later in 2019. The blue backpack that floated in the ocean for 2 decades brought her home. Justice came late, but justice came, and Madison Elizabeth Clark could finally rest.